Did you go to the toilet?
Yes.
Wow, what a
Oh,
time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new DC live stream and Walid's kids toilet training session.
We're Sims kids. No. We're just talking about something else. Good afternoon, Maddie. How are you today? How's your week been?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm very good. I've been watching the Twitter threads. I think they're called. I think that's what people call them when they're looking at socials and stuff. And very mixed bag of very mixed bag of where Bitcoin is going next, up or down. We're still in this pending move. We have a big move coming. The Bollinger Bands are squeezed as tight as they can be. And I'm still favoring the downside, but obviously, like everyone, I always hope that the price goes up because the price going up is good for everyone.
Yes, 100%. It is. It's that time in the bear market where things keep going sideways and people don't know what's going to happen. So it's interesting times ahead.
Super boring. But anyways, we've got heaps to cover, and that we're going to start off with the news for our viewers. So, mate, take us away.
Awesome. Well, regardless of price action, there's always news happening in crypto, and there's always new things, new adoption. We're going to start off today about talking about how Bitcoin is now included in the Guinness World Book of Records as the first decentralized cryptocurrency. So the GWR, the Guinness World Records, is now recognize Bitcoin as the first decentralized cryptocurrency. It puts it in there, speaks about his history, how he started off with the cyberpunks. It speaks about Satoshi Nakamoto as being the person that wrote the white paper and released it on the 18th of August 2008, and how Bitcoin was first tested and released to the world on the 3rd of January 2009. Also, in further news, Merriam-Webster Dictionary has added the words altcoin and metaverse to its reference page, and it's already added the words Bitcoin in 2016, cryptocurrencies, initial coin offering, and blockchain in 2018. This is just showing you that this technology is now here to stay and being more recognized by traditional education and so forth, like the Guinness World Book of Records, the dictionary. That this is now part of life. It's adding new words to our vocabulary, and it's here to stay. All right, next up, we've got Euro area annual inflation jumps to 9.9% in September as cost of bread skyrockets and protests erupt. So according to the European Union Statistics Office, Eurostat, on Wednesday, it said the annual inflation rate has gone up to 9.9%, up from 9.1% in August. But further than that, it's a 40-year high, and speculators and investors are now suspecting of a great risk of financial meltdown in Europe. Now, although the rest of the world is also facing inflation, we're seeing it all over the world, Europe is facing the hardest inflation on record at the moment in 40 years, with inflation going from 3.4% a year ago to 9.9% now, and even in some areas reaching 10.9 and 10.1%, up from 3.6% a year ago. On top of that, they're saying that a lot of the strategists, the foreign exchange strategists, are saying that with the strength of the US dollar and kind of current inflation in the US also at 0.2%, they're saying that the euro is going to struggle against the greenback and may even reach down to 0.86 cents US per euro. This has obviously caused a lot of backlash and a lot of problems in Europe, with many countries having a lot of protests. Countries like in Belgium, where I think it's like 1 in 10 bakeries are shutting down because the price of wheat is so high and they can't bear the inflation. In Paris, there has been protests about inflation. Also in Greece, in Austria, in Germany, all these countries where people are now protesting around inflation because they're struggling to make ends meet. So inflation is here to stay, guys, and this is we are in for some troublesome time. We are not out of the deep end at the moment, so keep an eye out on what's happening around the world, because we are definitely going into some troubling times. Moving on, Binance continues to growing stronger and faster, or growing stronger week by week. It seems like every single week in the past, maybe 5 or 6 weeks, we have been reporting on Binance getting new approval in new country. Now we are looking at Binance gets approval in Cyprus as the 4th country in Europe. They're doing it all over Asia. They've also done it in New Zealand recently, October. Recently, I think it was October last year, they got New Zealand. So 4 countries now that they've got that, including countries like France, Italy, and Spain, and now Cyprus. And the reason why Binance is getting so much approval is, according to CZ, the Binance CEO, he says Binance has the most thorough AML and CTF compliance policies in the industry. So AML is around anti-monitoring laws, and CTF is the counter-terrorist financing law. So this is a big thing that countries look at when they approve a new exchange. And because Binance has such strict laws, they're getting stronger and stronger in every country. So earlier in October, Binance got approval also in New Zealand. Moving on, the IRS releases new tax guidelines for NFTs and stablecoins. So basically, the IRS have come out. Excuse me, guys. Basically, the IRS has come out and said that the US will now treat NFTs and stablecoins like any crypto asset, meaning that people have to pay on capital gains when they sell it. If they sell and they create any kind of income from those assets, they have to pay tax on it. Now, the IRS refused to class NFTs as a collectible, which would mean that people have paid different type of tax. So things like antiques and collectibles, they get a 28% tax on it per year. NFTs don't have to do that. You only pay tax on selling it, and on the profit that you make, you pay capital gains tax. And last but not least, for today's news highlights, South Africa financial regulators declare crypto as a financial product. So moving on, as more and more countries adopt and more regulation comes in, more countries trying to figure out how they're going to treat these crypto assets. So according to a general notice published by the Government Gazette, crypto assets are now treated as financial products under the South African Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act. So this means that people, any such as exchanges or any type of crypto exchanges, now will have to apply for a license, and also will mean that people will need to pay tax on it like anything else. So the reason why this is coming in is because the reason for the declaration was cited as due to the mounting risk in crypto asset environment, but it looks like the action was done to comply with the financial asset trading. So according to some of the people at the government level, saying that they're seeing that there is now a lot of need and a lot of demand on cryptocurrencies, and the country needs to stay up to date with demand of their population, and therefore now they're starting to look at crypto adoption and crypto regulation. That's it for me, guys. Over to you, Maddie.
Thank you, Wasim. We'll see you a little bit later for the adoption highlights. All right, first tweet is by Michael A. Gayed. Breaking: the stock market is down over 30% this year. Wait a minute. Actually, it's long duration treasuries at the risk off asset. Never in history, in an extreme drawdown for stocks, have treasuries, the risk off asset, gone down more than stocks. Updated, wake up. So basically, he's just saying that the economy is worse off than what people are talking about. And if you dig deeper, you're going to see some pretty skewed numbers in regards to, bonds. Now they're talking about treasuries, it's just bad news after bad news. And with what Wasim sort of talked about before in regards to Europe inflation getting, or increasing quite rapidly. Not only that, but now they're having a change, possibly a change of parliament again. The prime minister just quit. So everyone is under the pump. Everyone is stressed. No one wants the top job, because right now, if you are at the top, all you're doing is getting blasted by the opposition. And it's not good. When there's no confidence in the leadership, then many countries start suffering. And, Britain already had their pound absolutely, pitfall, starting a month ago against the US dollar. But now it's only sort of going to get worse for them. And they're one of the biggest superpowers in Europe. So we have to pay attention. Next, Europe's misery index, unemployment rate plus inflation rate, all-time high. So we just spoke about how, things are going to probably get a little bit worse for Europe, but this is some pretty crazy numbers. And on top of that, like I said, change of leadership, that's going to just throw more spanners in the works, and things aren't looking good in Europe at the moment. Gold has been flowing west to east rather rapidly. This is a tweet from Lynn Alden, and we can see that the biggest buyers of gold since April has been some of those Asian and also Middle Eastern sort of countries, and everyone else is kind of bleeding. So, a lot of people still see gold as a risk-off asset. That's where people park their funds during a recession, during a depression, because it's supposed to be stable and it goes up slightly. But yeah, this is kind of concerning. It'd be great if we could see this chart, 10 years from now, and they're talking about Bitcoin, and they're talking about, countries holding Bitcoin as their treasury to in case things go a bit crazy. So until we start seeing that, we should see El Salvador in here, hopefully in 10 years' time, probably at the top of the list because they got in early. Next, we've got documenting Bitcoin, how it started, how it's going. Google will ban all cryptocurrency-related advertising. I did have to zoom in to see the date. It's 2018 to these days, partnering up with Coinbase. So look at what they do, not what they say. That's super important to note when you're in the crypto or investing space, because a lot of big companies are always going to reject Bitcoin and what it stands for and all that type of stuff. JP Morgan is a prime example. But in the back end, they're saying that so people sell those assets, cryptocurrency assets, and they can scoop it up at a cheap price because they know that technology and digital assets is the future. That's why there's so much talk about CBDCs and so forth. They know there's a demand out there. They know there's going to be a wealth transfer in the next 10, 20 years where the boomers are going to pass their inheritance to, their more tech savvy relatives. And then they're going to start investing it into more digital assets because the old way is outdated, and it's a boys club, and everyone wants to have their toe in the water these days. If you haven't watched the GameStop documentary on Netflix, I definitely recommend it. People now want to get into the stock market because it's easily accessible through like apps like Robinhood and Forex. What's the Plus 500? I always get ads for them. I signed up to them the other day. Sharesies, like it's really easy to buy stocks. The old days of the old days, I wouldn't even know how to buy stocks. But even CommSec is really difficult to use. I don't use it because I just get lost. I can go to any crypto exchange. It's so easy to buy cryptocurrencies. Like obviously a bit difficult maybe the first time because you got to go through KYC, but things are really easy to do these days, and that's why digital currencies are going to be the future. Sorry, went on a bit of a rant there. Next and last tweet, we've got Chairman. Remember when the UN said 6 billion donation from Elon Musk could end world hunger, and people raged at him for not doing it? Well, the government is spending another 50 billion on war and zero on world hunger. I do remember this. It was really interesting. He said he'd actually sell some shares in Tesla and do it if someone could show him where it would be spent and how it would do it. But obviously, I don't think he ever did it. But look, yeah, super interesting. Of course, I feel like the world always needs a hierarchy of rich and poor. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is because the people at the top don't want to do anything. They get the people at the bottom of the food chain to, work for maids, cleaners, and then you work up your different classes. So I would love to see, more of a communist regime worldwide where everyone gets a fair share of everything. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately, because we have such a discrepancy between each countries and, the types of imports and exports that makes them a rich country and all the rest of it. So, excuse me, phone went off. Alrighty, that's it from me. Rants are over. I'm going to bring Wasim back in. We're going to go through adoption highlights and then we're going to wrap up.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Maddie. And first up today in the adoption highlight, we have the colliding of worlds. So Comic-Con New York 2022 blended Web3 and pop culture fandom. So in this article, they're speaking about the famous Comic-Con that happens in New York every year with over 200,000 people attending this Comic-Con. And they're talking about how there's a big shift towards Web3 and NFTs and metaverse. Obviously, it makes sense because people that enjoy Comic Cons or enjoy comics, you know, they enjoy the fantasy of it and so forth. Also, there was a launch of, if you want to scroll down a little bit, Maddie, a launch of a new comic called Carapopolis. I hope I said that correctly. I'm not a huge comic fan, but this is by the creators of Rick and Morty, and this is the first ever animated series to be completely on the blockchain. They're selling some NFTs. So just to show you guys how NFTs can blend in real world stuff that we already do. You know, we know that people that love comics, they love the collectibles and whatnot, and NFTs are really sitting, you know, they're really serving that market. The first one is, you know, when you buy these NFTs called crap chickens, you get exclusive access to real world private events. You get special access to virtual viewing of things and so forth. Also, the Slam Girl, which is now on NFT, which is an old, not an old, it was created back in 2001 by Stan Lee, who's the director of, who's a legend in comics, and he was the guy behind DC, and it was one of his superheroes that's been really undiscovered. So they've used the blockchain and NFTs to revive this superhero, and you can buy different types of collectibles on eBay for that one. Also, eBay has you can see eBay had a big store there because eBay is also looking at and going into the NFT world. They can see that this is going to be a big part of their business moving in the future. So a lot of blend between NFT and real world and Comic Con. So it's very, very exciting stuff for those that are in that space. Next, we have another little. I suppose this is a bit of a novel news article about an old playing card maker. So the playing cards that we have. So this is a company called Bicycle. They bought API number 1227, and they paid like 103 ETH for it. So to celebrate the company's purchase of the first NFT, 103 ETH at the time when they bought it was valued at around 135,000 US dollars. So they paid that much for an NFT, and now they've taken that NFT and they've created playing cards with that NFT on the back of it. Again, the Bored Ape Yacht Club is a very social club. There's a lot of activities, people that are into it. It's a quite a close knitted community. So this is just another way for them to promote the Bored Ape Club, and they're bringing out a game to go with that also. So interesting to see how communities get created in the new world. Next up, retail giant Walmart announces crypto strategy, with the executive foresees a lot of disruptions in payment options. So Walmart global chief technology officer revealed that they see crypto becoming a big part of the way that they do. Walmart has already launched their metaverse on the Roblox game, with people being able to visit their stores there. They started to understand that in the future, people are going to use things like the metaverse to look for products and discover products and then pay for them through crypto. So more and more retailers are understanding this is the way of the future, and they're spending a lot of time and a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars, into the research and how they can actually accept crypto payments and provide services in this new world that we're coming into. Next up, this is a cool one. I actually like this. I'm actually thinking about buying one of these NFTs because I actually like The Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorite movies. So Warner Brothers has now released a Ethereum compliant. Yeah, call me a nerd. I don't care. I like.
No, I like them as well. Don't worry. I just thought I'd barge in with that one.
So basically, they're starting to see that NFTs could be the replacement of CDs and DVDs. So in the past, people who wanted to collect movies, they would buy CDs and DVDs, and they own that. It's their ownership of that. Now Warner Brothers is is creating an NFT where you can buy an NFT, then that gives you streaming rights at 4K level, streaming copy of the film, plus hours of bonus behind the scene footage and behind the scenes stills, as well as some altered reality collectibles. So you can download an app which has an altered reality to it, so like a Snapchat filter, which then you can use and create all different type Lord of the Rings photos using your phone. Now, what they're saying is they're seeing that this is they're testing out whether this is going to be big demand for this and whether they move down this path. So you basically connect your MetaMask, you hold the NFT in the MetaMask. If you own that NFT, you can then watch the movie on demand anytime you want. They're testing to see how this is going to go in the marketplace, and they understand that there's still some hurdles to go through. And for this to really take mass adoption, they got to iron out and make it seamless so that when somebody's on there, they don't even know they're on the blockchain. They just think they're still on the Web 2.0. And this is probably, in my opinion, this is probably the biggest hurdle for crypto and digital assets to overcome before they really get mass adoption. The more seamless it becomes, like Matt just discussed earlier, that on crypto exchanges, it's easier to buy and sell crypto, while stock exchanges used to be really, really hard. The easier we make it for the average person to get involved, the more adoption is going to be, which makes complete sense, right? Okay, last but not least, NFT Lottery celebrates the VeChain and Nito ATP partnership. So VeChain Foundation has posted that they have that they've partnered up with Nito ATP. Now you guys are gonna probably laugh at this. I had no idea what Nito ATP was. So I'm sure Matt probably knows what it is because he's a bit of a sports fan. So I looked it up. So Nito ATP is a tennis tournament that happens over in Europe, and this year is happening over in Italy. So basically, they've partnered up with VeChain, is going to be promoting their token and their blockchain all over this sporting event, and hopefully to promote the VeChain token and get more adoption in that. They've also partnered with the World of V, which is a game, and then people can use that game to get their NFTs and use them in the real world or whatnot. I'm not a gaming person, but as you guys know, gaming is going to be huge in NFT. So that's why I invest in gaming tokens, not so much in games. That's it for me for the adoption highlight today.
Thank you, Wasim. Well, guys, that's it from us. We have another week passed us by very quickly. We're not long now till Christmas. I hope to get some crypto for Christmas. That should be actually a little marketing tool, crypto for Christmas. But yeah, hey, why not? If you are in the crypto sphere and you're always thinking about, hey, what could I give someone that's crypto related, so you're bringing and increasing adoption, get them a Ledger, get them a Trezor, get them a hard wallet as a bit of a gift. They might even say, hey, what's this? And go, hey, this is a USB, so you can get into cryptocurrencies and become your own bank. So think outside the box. Get the more people you tell about crypto, the more it pumps all our bags, but also it increases the speed of adoption and showing people the new way of thinking, the new way of spending, and the new way of removing outside influence from the things that we do in our day-to-day life.
Yep, love it. Thank you, Matty. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and we shall see you. Well, Matty will be back on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Have an amazing weekend, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Peace out.
Bye, guys.